know, it seems like it's faster than in years past. You know, with recruiting and getting our guys tested, and it seems like this has really been sped up. So I know we're looking forward to starting on Saturday and getting out there. This is a great time of year just because, you know, you're undefeated, you know, and the world is your oyster. You know, the season, you don't know what it's going to hold. You know, I like the guys we're returning. I think, you know, the one thing you can't transfer wins from one year to another. You can't transfer goals, but you know, hopefully the culture that we've worked hard to instill, you know, goes from 10-11 to 11-12, and so far, based on their work ethic and approach, it has.
Obviously, you lose some key guys from last year, but you return a ton of key guys, too. None more important than probably Joe Cannata in the net, but guys like Ryan Flanagan as well, and Carl Stollery. So a strong nucleus returns. Yeah,
I actually watched the main series last weekend, and going into the main series, Ryan had 9 goals. He ended up with 16 on the year. You know, that line played really well for us. Might have been our best line down the stretch. You know, it's a different team. It's a new year. You know, we lose some guys, we add some guys. Again, we've got enough veterans that I think they understand how we want to play. Now, whether they're willing to put in the type of effort and determination that as they have in the past, that remains to be seen. But I know they're really excited, and you know, I think we're on solid footing right now.
Hockey season about to get underway. Always a tough test through the regular season. What do you expect out of the league this year?
I said this last year. It's like Groundhog Day. You know, I mean, it's. I've been involved with this league since 1987, and not that there aren't any surprises, because there'll be a couple surprise teams. There'll be a surprise team moving up. There'll be a surprise team moving down. You know, I'm amazed at the. You know, the consistency of some of the teams that have been up top. Kudos to their coaching staffs and players. You know, I don't like to use the word expectations. You know, our goals for this year are not much different than they were last year. You know, and they're not going to be handing out any sort of anything that's worth playing for. Won't be handed out in October. So you just want to make sure that you're working towards being in a position to compete for some of that hardware and stay healthy and go from there.
Well, it always happens when you come to the Hockey East Media Day. That's what it's all about. You know, everybody gets together, talks about the preseason poll, and you know, and we know that the start of the season is right around the corner.
Team coming back, returning a team that continues to have success in the regular season and in the postseason. I know who your leaders are going to be, but who are you looking to maybe to step up this year and accept a new role?
Well, that's interesting, and I think guys like Stevie Moses coming into his senior year, I think he's going to be one of the top forwards in the league. We've been fortunate the last couple of years to have one of the top scorers in the league, and I think Stevie's going to fill that role for us. But the John Henry-ons, and I think our sophomore class of forwards are going to be a strong group. That are going to keep us, in contention, scoring goals anyway. And then defensively is going to be our challenge. We only have 3 returning defensemen with the loss of Blake Kessel signing in the NHL. So, but Matt DiGeronimo's our goaltender, and we got some young players coming in that are going to have to fill some important roles for us. But we're confident about that.
And how about Hockey East? Another season, another grind through the Hockey East season. What are you expecting out of the league this year?
Nothing different than years past. It's a real strong league. We got great players throughout the league, and it's why we're a good league, because of the talent that we can attract to Hockey East. And obviously, there's a lot of parity in the league. So, that being said, it's going to be another long season, and you just want to be there at the end and give yourself an opportunity to win it.
Well, beginning of each season, regardless of your new coach or returning coach, you're looking forward to the beginning of the year. The kids have been really responsive on the ice. We've been on the ice 7 or 8 days. For myself and our new staff, it's a chance for us to get to know the players and to see what they can actually do on the ice. And there's always a refreshness, not just to a new season, but to a new staff, and they've responded really well. So, the excitement's at a high level. Obviously, for myself, getting back into it at a school that means an awful lot to me, that is even elevated a little bit more. But no, there's excitement in the locker room. There's excitement on the ice, and the kids have responded well so far.
Taking the position, obviously an alum of the school, but looking back on the decision-making process, why pursue the position?
You know, for me, the intersection, I said this in my press conference, the intersection of the two passions that I have are Northeastern University and hockey. And I've been able to pursue both of them in a unique way at the university, and obviously with pro hockey for the last 18 years. And I look at the job that Greg Cronin had done here at Northeastern, and him and I are real good friends. And for me, he brought the program an awful long way in the last 6 years. And it's just a belief in myself and understanding what this institution is all about, the values of the institution, and where I believe the hockey program is, and where we want to continue building on that momentum, where we believe as a new staff we can take it, just brought that interest level to a heightened level for me. And in having a few conversations with Greg through the process, when I was going through the interview process, it just became more and more clear that this was the right time for me at the institution. Those opportunities had been offered to me previously a few years back, and it just wasn't the right time. It certainly was the right time for Jim Madigan and for Northeastern.
Well, I know you haven't had a lot of time to spend on the ice with your players, but you certainly got one guy between the pipes who's going to give you everything he's got. In my book, one of the best in the league, and that's Chris Rawlings.
No doubt about it, and certainly Chris, I think, has played 30-plus games over the last 2 years and has done the yeoman's work, and he comes at it with a real professional approach, and that of a professional player, you can see the discipline and the diligence which he goes at it, and so it's always nice as a new coach coming in the league that you've got goaltending, because it starts from, as you know, the goaltending out. So we're really fortunate that way. We're also fortunate to have a couple of other good goaltenders in the program. Clay Wood, who played some games toward the end of the last year, had a big win the last game of the year against Boston University. And then Brian Mountain, who's got a win in Hockey East a couple years ago and has done a good job. So we're fortunate to have three good goaltenders on our program. Certainly Chris has led the charge with the bulk of the work, but we're comfortable and confident with all three.
We're really excited. We're really excited to get going. You always feel a great level of enthusiasm, and it's important that we keep this enthusiasm throughout the year. Opening game for us is BU, UMass, Amherst. That's our first weekend. We dive right into it, and really looking forward to it.
Talk about the appeal of the job and the reasons you decided to accept the position as head coach at Providence.
Well, the first and foremost were the two men in the leadership positions, Father Shanley, president of our school, and Bob Driscoll, our athletic director. They had a vision for what they wanted the men's ice hockey program to be. The second part is the rich tradition of the program. The tradition of this program is outstanding. 5 men have had their name on the Stanley Cup from our program. Nearly 100 players drafted from our program. We've won Hockey East twice. So we have a great tradition, and with the leadership in place and the tradition, and also the rink renovation that's going to take place next summer, I thought all the pieces were in place for us to get back among the elite teams in college hockey.
One of the things for a new head coach is relying on your upperclassmen. So I'm assuming you're expecting some of those guys to really step into that leadership role.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some great upperclassmen, but the funny thing is that we have 26 freshmen right now. They're learning a new coach, they're learning a new system, they're learning kind of maybe some different standards of how we want to work, how we want to practice, and what we want to be. And so although we do have some upperclassmen, I think right now it feels like we have 26 freshmen because they're all kind of going through the learning curve a little bit right now.
Well, it's unbelievable. Every time this year, it seems to get more and more exciting. I think our student athletes put so much time and effort into their training in the off season. We as coaches are trying to be as planned and organized as we possibly can, and ultimately it comes to this point in the season, media day and all these types of things when we're talking about hockey. The leaves start to change, and it's not long before we're hitting the ice here, so we're very excited to say the least.
Certainly you return one of the best netminders in the league in Rob Medor, so you're set from the net on out. What are you expecting out of your team, and maybe some guys you're expecting to accept new roles this season?
Well, I agree. I think Rob is one of the best goaltenders in our league, and that's saying a lot because we have some very, very nice this year. He's certainly going to be challenged to be one of the top ones in the league, and we'll certainly need him. I think in terms of our returning players, guys like Drew McKenzie and Sebastian Stahlberg, Chris McCarthy have to have big years for us in their positions and taking on big responsibilities. And I think they're ready to do that now that they have another year under their belt going into their junior and senior years respectfully. But guys like Connor Brickley, I think, are a name. He's such a good freshman year for us. I think he's really poised to take a big step for us this year. And I'm just excited about all the guys. They really made a strong commitment after last season being very disappointing for us. Very strong commitment in the offseason to trying to better themselves both on and off the ice.
And it's another Hockey East season, so another grind through the regular season in Hockey East. What are you expecting out of the league this year?
I feel like I say the same thing every year, but I think it's up for grabs. And you certainly have teams like BC and BU who deserve to be up at the top of the polls, I think, just on paper. And that's the beauty of it. The game's not played on paper, and I think, again, there's some teams that can surprise just like last year. I think there could be some special teams in this league. And you're right, going through the gauntlet's very difficult. I don't know if you've looked at the last 3 or 4 weekends for the Catamounts, but it's a pretty tough swing for us with a lot of the top teams each year. So we're looking forward to that challenge. We always prepare ourselves with our non-conference schedule, going out to Minnesota to play the Gophers right off the bat. And some ECAC, competition really helps us prepare for the season.